Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and welcome back to another episode of Waz Reviews. You ever been on a business trip and thought about quitting your fancy lawyering job to chase after some woolly mammoths? I mean, sure, who hasn't, right? Well, in the 2002 game Syberia, a game so epic the author's name is front and center, you can live out all your job-quitting fantasies. Boss on your back about chasing an old man across Europe to sign a piece of paper? Boyfriend on your case? Your best friend on your boyfriend's? That robot train conductor you had to build not wanting to get off his bum to help you? Syberia's got you covered. You are Kate Walker, a fancy New York lawyer just arrived in the small European town of Valadilene, somewhere in the French Alps. And yes, this was originally a French game, and while the spoken dialogue is in English in the American release, some of the on-screen words are still in French. It's a rainy day, a robot is beating a drum, and a funeral is in progress with robots in tow. With every robot in town at the local church, Kate Walker checks into the local hotel. She's not staying long, though. It's just a simple matter of getting local factory owner Anna Varley to sign a contract for the sale of her automaton factory to the Universal Toy Company, a client of Kate's law firm. There's just one problem. That funeral wasn't the funeral of beloved android Data from Star Trek The Next Generation, but for Anna herself.
What? Anna Varley is dead?
We decided to leave this place just one damn day too late, you know?
The factory will end up closing, devastating Valadilene until it's signed over to a new owner.
I hope this isn't going to get too complicated.
Unfortunately, Anna Varley died without an heir. But hey, there's already a plan in place in case that ever happened. We just have to go to the notary. Oh... Yeah, in true point-and-click fashion, Syberia is loaded with puzzles to solve in order to advance the plot. Some of the puzzles involve simply messing with the controls for a while to figure out the puzzle's logic, while others require you to fetch something to make it work. This is where the game can be frustrating. It's very easy to get hung up on one puzzle that will prevent you from progressing the story, and I could see why many people would give up on this game early on. However, this game is reasonably playable without a walkthrough. Granted, the first time I played through this game about 7 years ago, I heavily relied on one, but this time around, after hopefully forgetting all the solutions, I was able to figure out most problems, only referring to a walkthrough twice. The best piece of advice I can give you? Be a kleptomaniac. If it ain't nailed down, pick it up and put it in your jacket. You'll need it for a puzzle somewhere down the line. And yes, Kate stores literally everything in her jacket without anything showing through. Documents, tools, giant sticks, booze. I'm sure we'll be seeing Kate selling watches in the park with that jacket any time now. Eventually, I figured out that you need to put a fax you received in the automaton's hand, and then the notary will open the door for you. So, that was frustrating. But whatever, I'm here now. Let's just wrap up the sale of that factory, shall we?
I am afraid that the sale of the Vorarlberg factory is not as straightforward as it first seemed. There is an heir, Miss Walker.
I'm sorry, what? Apparently, Anna had a 2 days before her deathbed confession that her brother, Hans, who everyone thought was dead because their father had a full-blown funeral that the entire town witnessed, is actually alive. But whatever, we'll just get Hans to sign the contract. Where is he?
Hans Vorarlberg is somewhere in Syberia.
Syberia. No address, just Syberia. Well, this job just turned into a complete nightmare.
Hello?
Kate?
Dan, I'm so pleased to hear your voice.
Kate's fiancé, Dan, decides to give her a call and see how she's doing. Well, that's nice. After the news that she'll have to freeze her ass off in Syberia, she'll need a little encouragement.
We're expected at the Goldbergs about 8 o'clock. I hope you have the time to take a shower and change, my poor honey bun.
Excuse me? Did you just hear a word she said? Job's not going as planned, there's complications.
Don't worry, Kate. You'll be as perfect as ever.
Look, I don't care what Goldberg dinner this is. It could be with the wrestler Goldberg for all I care. It ain't happening.
Katie, you can't do this to me.
Guys, she's on the other side of the world right now, on a business trip.
There's millions of dollars on the line here.
And what am I doing this for? 63 cents? Let's just head into the factory grounds and check out the Vorarlberg house. And do a little trespassing. Hey, they shouldn't have left the key to the ladder in some random fountain, am I right? However, Kate isn't the only one breaking into property that isn't theirs. Completely legal, I'm sure. Local boy Momo, who works at the inn and who Kate met earlier, is demanding Kate draw him a mammoth.
Kate draw mammoth for Momo. Then Momo tell Kate secret. You've got a secret?
Apparently, an etching will do. Momo is satisfied, but now we have to run after him, all over town and through the local woods. And I have to say, these are some of my favorite shots in the game. The slightly mournful tone of the music perfectly complements the misty look of the woods. I love it.
It sure is mighty pretty.
Now, part of this game is talking to the people in the places you travel to. When you talk to people in the game, you sometimes have the option to pick topics to talk to them about, like about Kate, her mission, request some help, Hans, Anna, and other topics important to the story. Some of these conversation paths are required in order to progress the story, some are hints to help you figure out what to do next, and some are optional but provide extra backstory for the characters or Kate.
If Dan could see me, I don't think he'd like what he saw. Momo don't know Dan.
Yeah, well, Dan's not really worth knowing. You can go through as many conversations as you like without worrying about closing off story paths. The game is pretty linear that way, and that's totally fine. Other than being able to solve puzzles, there's nothing that forces you to restart the game if you mess up. At least not that I know of. So feel free to experiment with different options or solutions. Oh damn. Well, that lever isn't nailed down. Yoink! If you keep an eye on the cursor, it'll tell you whether or not you can use an object on something to make it work. In this case, putting the broken lever back isn't going to work, so we have to find something else to use. Oh, that should work, and I'll use the broken lever to get one of the oars.
Ugh, that oar is all dirty and wet.
Really, Kate? Really? There's money riding on this! Just wash your hands later!
I've moved the oar nearer. Be a good boy and carry it for me.
Wow, Kate. Wow. Momo literally does Kate's dirty work for her and raises the dam. So now we get to go into the cave and pick up an old mammoth doll. And I suppose now's as good a time as any to get into Anna's and Hans's backstory, which you slowly uncover as you explore the town and solve puzzles. Basically, when they were kids, Hans showed Anna this cave that he found and made her promise not to tell anyone, which at some point Anna must have broken because Momo knows about the cave. Hans found this mammoth doll on top of some rocks, but he fell and went into a coma for weeks trying to get it. He finally woke up, but the accident stunted him both physically and mentally. However, Hans showed an aptitude for building automatons, and his father employed him at the family factory. Anna goes off to university while Hans works at the factory, but the two remain close. Later, Hans wants to leave Valadilene to search for mammoths, but their father decided to lock him in the factory workshop, which he managed to break out of after a month. Both shamed and mentally broken that his son left the town, their father staged an entire funeral for Hans, hoodwinking the entire town and the local priest into believing there was an accident that killed Hans. Anna wanted to get away from her father, but decided to remain so Hans can keep sending her robots. Even though the town is as finicky about calling them automatons, just about as much as Data is about being called an android.
If you want people to like you here, never ever pronounce the word robot.
I am only an android.
Over the years, Hans would send Anna plans to build automatons at the factory. Most recently, a train and an automaton train conductor. And Anna was just about to join Hans in his journey after the sale of the factory. Yeah, this game is very heavy on exposition, especially in the early parts of the game, though there are some nice visuals for the flashbacks. The train's all set to go, but it requires some stuff. For one thing, it still needs a conductor. And just where is the conductor? Still being built. And he's alive!
Oh, many thanks indeed. I am most embarrassed for you to see me like this. I lack a certain completion.
This is Oscar. Hans designed him to be your conductor.
You are a very strange robot.
Automaton, if you please.
I am an android, not a robot. I beg your pardon.
Well, before we go anywhere, Oscar needs some feet. He can't go conducting a train without feet. Well, we're in a factory, so let's make this automaton some feet. Okay, how did Kate manage to store Oscar's feet in her jacket and not have it show? Game logic.
These feet are incorrect, Kate Walker.
So, through some trial and error and many, many attempts, I made Oscar a pair of feet. And it all came down to the type of wood I was using. At least the production video is interesting to watch. Here's your stinking feet, Oscar.
Allow me to express a real feeling of joy, Kate Walker.
Yeah. Now, can you drive the train?
Your ticket, please?
My ticket? What are you talking about?
The rules clearly state, Kate Walker, every passenger of this train must possess a ticket.
Oh, for the love of...
No ticket.
Okay, fine. What the hell? Oscar scratches his butt, and 1, 2, 3, we have a ticket. Now, let's get going.
The authorization for the release of the train. The ticket officer may ask you for it at any time.
Oh, son of a... And how the hell am I supposed to get that? Oh, a little forgery? Well, alright then. Just how many laws has Kate broken in this game? Oscar will continue to refuse your ticket until you place the mammoth toy, the mechanical music box of Anna and Hans, and a voice cylinder that you have to listen to before you leave.
Kate, it's me again.
Oh, look who's calling again. Jerk Dan.
Dan, I was gonna call you.
Yeah.
The stakes are higher than I thought, and you know how much I love this job.
I suppose it's neither here nor anywhere to you that the Goldbergs are going to...
So he just called to pick a fight? Kate even hangs up on him, and frankly, I don't blame her. Kate, you're confident, you're pretty, you have a good head on your shoulders. You could do so much better. Alright, Oscar, let's roll. Welcome to Barrackstadt.
Barockstadt.
Barrackstadt?
Yeah, the dubbers like to say names with European pronunciation, so they say Barrackstadt. However, I'm American, so I'm saying it as Barrackstadt. We roll up in a greenhouse for the local college. Apparently, the train needs to be wound up before it can keep going. That's right, folks. This train runs on clean-burning wind-up toy technology.
There must be some sort of train winding thing just laying around in this weirdo station.
Actually, it's all the way over there. Now, you would think Kate isn't alone in all of this. She has Oscar to help her out, right? Nope, it's too humid.
Rust awaits my every movement if I leave this train, Kate Walker.
Yeah, Oscar pretty much has every excuse in the book to not help you throughout this entire game.
But the high level of heavy metal miasma that pollutes the atmosphere could cause havoc to my wheelwork.
Well, the deans of the college apparently want to talk to Kate, and this is one heck of a party school.
Hey, baby, you party? You sure looking mighty fine. Love those big, round eyes.
Fresh. However, not in the party mood are the university deans, who are demanding that the train be moved out of the station.
Train should first stop, then subsequently leave. That is the rule.
Fine. Just know that you're not invited to my party train. These guys are fun to listen to as they bicker back and forth, which I'm pretty sure is satirizing higher education.
The impudent fool turned up for the oral assessment in jeans!
But they're not much help right now. They just want us to move the train. And maybe get Kate to enroll for that sweet, sweet tuition money.
here we are, busy chatting, and look at the clock. It's tea time.
Tea, you say? You know what? These guys are all right. Let's take a moment to talk to the locals, shall we? After all, it's not like we have much to go off of.
What can I do for you, my dear child?
Hello, child.
This is Cornelius Pons. He's an emeritus professor and lecturer, and also, he knew Hans.
We shared a passion for mammoths, you know.
Corny mentions how Hans kept talking about a mammoth doll, which he believes probably belonged to the Sokal tribe in Syberia, with an I, but he's baffled how that doll wound up in the French Alps. He also mentions that Hans knew a lot about the legend of Syberia, with a Y. Kate's stay in Barrackstadt is rather uneventful. If you call busting the local secret wine racket run by the university professors and deans uneventful.
And it would be good wine indeed, my dear colleagues, would it not?
You've all got a nice little smuggling racket on the side. You have a minor racket operating here.
Miss, you do go jumping to some hasty conclusions.
Otherwise, we'd be liable to be fined.
Man, this really is a party school. But now, why did we need to bust the wine racket? Did Kate really have a hankering for some wine? No, though she gets a bottle of it anyways. She needed the berries to get the birds to move from a ladder so she could get an egg to fix the bandstand in the university's courtyard so she can get paid and bribe a guy in a boat to tow her train over to the winding station. Yes, it really is that convoluted. Even more perplexing was that I couldn't just grab the egg. I needed a pair of tongs from Corny's lab, which he won't open until I show him the mammoth doll, and I'm still mad about it because I had to look it up in a walkthrough. It was so ridiculous.
Impossible to reach it.
No, it isn't! Just grab it! But before we go, we have to sit in on a lecture by Corny so we can get the mammoth doll back. Nothing like holding a doll hostage so you can't ditch class. The lecture itself kinda drags on.
We know that the origins of the Yukos date back to the last ice age. Curiously, evidence of their presence has been found in Western Europe and more.
Basically, Corny gives some details about the Sokal tribe who relied on mammoths for everything and some of their legends, particularly the legend of the island of Syberia, again with a Y, where mammoths are rumored to still live. This gives some background to what Hans was chasing after, but to be honest, it's a little dull. Let's head back to the train.
Hello?
Where are you?
Still in Europe on business, Dan, remember? So Dan's being Dan. He's complaining about Kate taking this job in the first place and how she tried to apply herself. How dare she?
You, my darling, are sitting at home on your butt.
Jerk Dan is also lazy Dan.
Call me back when you calm down.
Oh, that's rich.
You can be such a selfish...
Takes one to know one, sweetheart.
Seriously, Kate, dump his...
Kate Walker!
Alright, let's get this show on the road.
It is imperative that we comply with railroad and customs regulations, Kate Walker.
Oh, for crying out loud!
God, I think I'm going crazy.
Fine. I guess Kate will just have to give the gate captain a Mickey so he can see that the enemy soldier out there is just a branch and get the right paperwork for Oscar. Yes, that happened.
The enemy was only a tree. I'm so ashamed.
Finally, we're on our way. So long, tree branch. Why do I feel like I'm about to get mugged? You son of a...
Kate Walker!
Yes?
Kate.
Not now, Dan! I've been mugged!
I wanted to say sorry. I know I wasn't very understanding last time. I've been feeling a bit bad about it.
You should feel bad.
My hands! I no longer have them! They have been stolen! I am incapable of drinking a cup of tea.
Oh, it's on.
Alright, you listen up, you little freaks!
Kate confronts the mugger alone without so much as a bat for protection and tries to convince the mugger to give Oscar his hands back. However, he needs Oscar's hands for his piano-playing automaton to attract a world-famous opera singer, Helena Romansky.
Everything I have designed, all that I have invented, everything is for
her.
What, are you crazy? Oh. Basically, he won't hand over Oscar's hands until Helena performs at his factory, which Kate agrees to get her because she doesn't have much choice. Luckily, Kate's mom just happens to be dating another Russian opera singer who happens to know that Helena is at the resort spa Arrowbad. Kate decides she's going to leave Oscar here on a train that doesn't lock with a loose mugger around so she can find Helena. Great plan.
Hello?
Did I wake you up?
Oh, you. Dan calls to apologize for the argument he had with Kate and how he feels really bad about it and that he made an ass of himself in front of his colleagues because he left the door open. Well, Dan, you're showing some maturity. I'm impressed.
Promise me that you will never put me in that state again.
Oh, son of a... What now, Dan?
Hello?
Kate! Oh, that you? How are you?
Oh, it's Olivia, Kate's best friend. Surely she'll have Kate's back.
I'm beginning to see Dan's point of view. It's getting harder and harder to back you up all the time.
Do these people not realize that Kate has to be here for work?
I had a drink or two with Dan, because he wants to talk. We went to the movies the other day and
You mean you're dating my fiancé?
Yes, Kate, she is.
He invited me to dinner at the Goldberg. You don't mind, do you, Kate?
Okay. Now you all know how much I hate Dan. But how crappy of a friend is Olivia? She's practically dating her best friend's fiancé while she's away on a business trip. Like, what the hell? Well, Kate's personal life may be deteriorating, but how is she getting to Arrowbad without a train? Why, a blimp, of course. And how do we learn how to operate it? By sending a drunk astronaut into space on a barely tested rocket.
Hello?
What do you think you're doing, Kate? I wanted updates.
Well, it turned out my fiancé is a jerk, and my best friend is low-key dating him. Oh, you mean about the contract? We sneak into the resort by distracting the front desk by throwing soap into the fountain, and we meet the famous Helena Romansky, who, surprise, surprise, dated Hans.
I might see Hans again. I have dreamed so long of meeting my dearest sweetheart again.
Helena lost her voice about 10 years ago, but she might be convinced to sing if we mix her up some booze. Honey, you should have retired to the party school.
And it would be good wine indeed, my dear colleagues.
Alright, let's channel our inner Quark and mix up some booze. Too bad it's not tea, though. Then I'd have you covered. Could get you an Essentia, maybe some Earl Grey.
Oh, my God. Oh. The blue Helena had a color that was like... an aroma like... you understand?
No? The bar is a weird piano booze-making contraption, and it doesn't even have all of the ingredients. Heck, you even have to take some old honey, throw it in a jacuzzi so it liquefies, and use that. Also, I hope you understand music theory because it's kinda required to make the drink. Helena takes a swig, shatters a glass with her voice, and Kate's ready to take her into what is no doubt going to be a hostage situation. What now, Dan?
Hello?
Hi, it's me, Olivia.
Oh, Olivia. So, how was your date with Kate's fiancé?
We shouldn't have drunk so much. He came up to mine to have a nightcap and then... Oh, Kate, you're gonna hate me.
Oh, so you weren't dating her fiancé, were you, Olivia?
I could never tell you that I've had the hots for Dan for ages, because you're my friend and you were engaged and all, but...
I'm hanging up now. I want to be on my own.
Well, Kate just lost her best friend, who was actually a rather shitty friend. Kate, you're better off without her. Well, who could have predicted that? Kate breaks Helena out, Helena shuffles over to her, Kate grabs Oscar's hands, which seems like she should have been able to do while Borodin had his back turned and without involving Helena, and escapes the factory despite some explosions, and we leave this place in a style that would make the A-Team proud.
It's a tough break, but that's showbiz.
Hello?
Kate, hi, it's me, Dan. Are you alright?
Oh, Dan! Dan, how's it going? Anything happened since we last chatted?
I went to dinner with the Goldbergs. I finally beat Bob at squash. The cleaning woman broke the vase in the entrance hall. Well, other than that, nothing new.
I see. Everything's cool, though?
Yeah, everything's, cool.
Well, let's cut the bowl, sister.
I had Olivia on the phone. She was a little upset. Nothing to say?
So sorry. I don't know what came over me.
I don't know, Dan. Maybe I'm to blame somewhere in all this.
No, Kate, you're not. You were on a business trip for work. Dan was even okay with you going until it got complicated and you were obligated to stay longer to finish the job. And then he cheated on you with your best friend. It's not like you were, I don't know, lost in the Delta Quadrant like Captain Janeway, and after a couple of years he moved on and got engaged to someone else because you were gone without a trace. This was a business trip to Europe. So no, you're not to blame. Dan is a scumbag. Well, scumbag Dan is gone. But you know who will always remain loyal, Kate? Oscar.
I'll be waiting for you, Kate Walker.
Back at Arrowbad, Helena bears no ill will towards Kate for almost getting her kidnapped, and she recommends that we check out a plane that just arrived with supplies. Oh, hello, old man. Wait, old man!
Mr. Vorarlberg? Hans Vorarlberg?
You've brought the train, then. That's good.
We did it! We found him!
That's it! We did it!
We did it!
My name's Kate Walker.
Kate Walker. Okay, I'm going away on the train. A long way away.
Kate almost forgets why she was looking for Hans in the first place and asks him to sign the contracts, which he does without reading.
You signed just like that? Without reading it?
I can't read. I don't know how to.
The boss calls and Kate tells him that she's got the signature, and he suddenly changes his tune.
I knew I could count on you, Kate. I made a serious error of judgment trusting you with this case. Well done again, and don't lose those papers, huh? That would be the dumbest thing.
Yes, it would. Hans offers to let Kate come with him on his journey, but Kate's all,
I have to go back to New York. They're waiting for me there, you understand?
Well, let's think about this, Kate. Who's waiting for you back home? Scumbag Dan who cheated on you? Backstabbing Olivia who cheated with your fiancé? Or the boss that has done nothing but berate you this entire time? Kate has a decision to make. Go back to New York on a plane and deliver the contracts and pick up the pieces of her life that deteriorated within a week, or just say, screw it, and quit her job without telling anyone and chase after some woolly mammoths with an old man that she just met. I mean, what would you do? Run as fast as you could to catch the train, of course! And that's Syberia, the beginning of Kate Walker's journey to find the island of Syberia, again spelled with a Y. This game is a nice hidden gem, but I can see why it might not appeal to everybody. It's very exposition heavy, there's not a whole lot of action except for the explosions, the puzzles can be a little frustrating, and a lot revolves around exploring and talking to people. At the same time, the story is interesting and the world the game takes place in is beautiful. Minus the crazy guy's factory, of course. The game is full of memorable side characters in the towns you visit, and I'm always sad to leave the towns and those characters behind. Kate Walker, as a protagonist, is a likable character, and a character that you would think would be getting more attention in recent years. She uses her head to solve puzzles, she's the one that moves her story forward, and she's attractive without being over-the-top sexy. And all in a game from 2002. I feel like people who complain about a lack of good female characters in older games simply haven't looked hard enough because they're there and Kate Walker is one of them. While this game might not appeal to everyone, if you like point-and-click adventure games and don't mind working your brain a little bit, then hop on board the train to Syberia. So what do you think? Did you ever play Syberia? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it deserves more attention than it gets? And what are some of your favorite point-and-click adventure games? Please leave a comment below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Waz Reviews. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
Oscar, see you later, alligator.
In a while, Kate Walker.